That's your Bloomberg Business Flash, Scarlett and Paul.
All right, thank you so much, John Tucker. Let's bring in Henrietta Treyz. You kind of front-run us, but let's go right
Sorry
there.
about that.
Henrietta Treyz is managing partner and director of economic policy at Veta Partners. Joining us now for this potential of a government shutdown. Henrietta, just answer that first question for us. TSA agents, essential workers, they'll be there at the airports.
TSA essential workers, the guys on the ground waving the light up flashlights, whatever those things are called, they will be there. They will not be getting paid, though. So that's a tough break.
Wow.
Yeah, that's painful for them.
I want my air traffic controllers to be happy.
Yes.
And, yes. Exactly.
I don't want them to be mad or upset and angry about not getting paid.
So, Henrietta, how's this going to play out, do you think? Let's assume the government shuts down at midnight tonight. Is there any call or consensus in D.C. as to the duration?
That's a good question. I was speaking with staff yesterday just after the White House meeting, and what's going to happen for the next couple of days is you're going to see basically a very real vibe shift. We've gone from not voting and sort of docile action on the House and Senate floor to what is expected to be repeated rounds of voting on the same bill over and over and over again. So the Senate Republicans are going to put that House passed clean CR on the floor as frequently as possible, possibly every single day and through the weekend until they break this impasse. And the expectation, I would start at the long end, is for 10, 11, 12 days of shutdown. The federal employees themselves will start missing pay cycles on Friday, October 10th. But there is, on the short side, a little bit of optimism that after the Yom Kippur holiday on Thursday, cooler heads might have prevailed. Some of the steam will be let out of the room, and they'll be able to reopen on Friday. That's optimistic.
Okay, what you described sounds kind of like what happened when they were trying to vote for a Speaker of the House a couple of years ago, and that went through many rounds and many days. Yeah. So, Henrietta, what does this mean for the all-important jobs report that investors will be focused on Friday? Because if there is a shutdown, even if it is temporary and it lasts just a couple of days, does it screw things up so much that we don't get the jobs report at 8:30 a.m.?
This is the interesting dynamic. So the government doesn't shut down until tonight at midnight. The employees are all working at VLS, at the Department of Labor. The data has been collected. All we need to do effectively is hit send on that employment report at 8:30 a.m. on Friday. So it's all there. That means that this is an active choice from the administration to suspend activities. Everybody except the commissioner is going to be furloughed. And under furlough, they're legally not allowed to work. So the data will be there, it will be compiled, but they will not hit send on that information. And that is the base case expectation of staff on Capitol Hill, is that we will not see the Friday jobs report. A direct quote from some staffers that I spoke with last night basically said they've normalized the idea that the BLS data is not going to be reported, so we should not anticipate that data set on Friday. And the reason I lay it out like that is because as we get deeper into the shutdown, the people who are collecting the data and compiling it will not be working. So as it gets into the October employment situation, when we're shut down, that data won't have been collected. It won't be compiled, as opposed to this employment situation, which is, in existence. It's already there. We just need to hit send.
Henrietta, from a political perspective, does one party have more risk here from a shutdown?
That's a good question. I would always think of risk when I think of politics as who do the voters blame. Right now, Republicans are 13 points underwater with the American electorate based off of a Morning Consult poll of over 2,000 American voters conducted and put in the field this week. So right now, the American public is blaming Republicans. That's probably got to be because the president is a Republican, the Senate is controlled by Republicans, and the House is controlled by Republicans. So it makes sense that if we're shutting it down, it's the majority's fault. The Democratic Party, in terms of consequence and risk, Senator Schumer and Leader Jeffries are under intense pressure from their base and from rank and file members to shut it down, to do whatever they can to try to challenge a very aggressive and robust executive branch. And shutting down the government is the best they can do.
What will you be watching for or listening for in the proceedings over the next couple of days? I know a lot of it, as you mentioned, you described it, there's going to be a lot of voting on the same bill over and over, and we're not going to expect to see any much change. But if there's going to be any kind of sea change, where might it appear?
Well, I don't appreciate you calling me out like this because I will be glued to C-SPAN too, as ever. I'll be watching the Senate floor. The reality of the math here is that the only Republican who needs Democratic votes is Leader Thune. He's going to need anywhere between 10 and 20 Democratic votes to cross the line. What's going to happen here is that even though we only need technically 7 or 8 Democrats, no one wants to be that 60th vote, and they're always going to give each other political cover. So Leader Thune is going to have to try to get, as many as, 10 or so Democratic senators to support whatever he puts on the floor. So it's incumbent upon him to negotiate with the Democrats that Speaker Johnson doesn't have to do, and Donald Trump doesn't have to do. So really all of our attention should be on the Senate side. Moments ago, Leader Thune and Leader Schumer did have an exchange on the Senate floor. I got very excited, but there's no movement yet. So that's where I'll be watching.
All right, Henrietta, thank you so much. Appreciate that. As always, Henrietta Trez, managing partner at Veda Partners, giving us the latest on this shutdown.